Hi, welcome to Invictus Motors. We've got this Porsche 911 Targa. This is the 991.1 Targa 4S, and this basically goes back to the Targa shapes of the mid-60s up until the early 1990s. So these were first launched in terms of the 911 Targa. Just the name Targa was launched in 1965 at the Frankfurt Motor Show, and the name Targa comes from a famous race in Italy, Sicily to be precise, and Porsche from a motorsports team point of view had a lot of success with that race, and the Targa Florio, Porsche's success associated with it, and that's where sort of the idea of the 911 Targa came from. They'd considered other names, but the 911 Targa was what it was. So 1965 is when it was sort of launched. 1967 is when they started to actually put out the 911 Targas out there to the market. And back then you could actually spec one where you basically had a plastic window at the back with just a little bit of a soft top that you had to kind of roll up, put in the front boot, and the plastic window completely put down. And before I actually get into sort of the history of the Targas, starting from 1965 up until, let's just say, this modern day 911 Targa, I just would like to also mention the idea of why Porsche said, well, hang on a second, we'll make a car such as this. That started because in America, in the United States, they were completely considering to ban convertibles just due to safety reasons. So Porsche came up with the idea where they will install these safety bars here. So in case the vehicle rolls over, it doesn't kill all of its passengers immediately. So you've got this roll bar there that will protect its passengers at all times. And that's where the whole concept of Porsche working on this Targa thing came from. So from 1965 up until the G-bodied 911s that I think started to roll off in the mid-1970s, this is continued, and that then continued even into the 964 Targas. And obviously there were always little bit of changes where they said, well, the 964 Targa has got 70% new parts, but they were almost identical in terms of the aesthetics of it, the way it looked, just the overall look and feel and the dimension of the car. Yeah, things like the front bumpers on the 964s would have changed, the back bumpers, and there would have been a little bit more technology and just moving in the right direction. But where a huge leap happened was in the early 90s with the Porsche 911, the 993, where they installed a full-on glass roof. Basically the back end was glass, this section was glass, and you could almost compare it to having one of these sort of new Mercedes with a full-on glass roof. And I think to me it didn't really resonate with it being sort of that soft top Targa, but it had a lot of success. It still was a beautiful car. It was a 911 built on the body shape of a convertible with this gorgeous big huge glass roof. But ultimately it's this look and feel is what I'm trying to then get to eventually in the history of the 911 Targas. So that sort of a thing continued from the 993 to the 996, which is from 1997 to 2004. It then continued into the 997 from 2004 up until 2011. And in 2014, this was the 911 Targa that was introduced back to the world, and having all of this mechanical system here and seeing some of the mechanical components underneath there where the roof is opening, it's actually not only at quite an efficient and a fast speed, but it's bulletproof mechanism. And seeing that this whole section is soft top, this is glass, and having it all open at such a fast pace and being incredibly durable, especially from the motors that are there to open and close that roof. I've got nothing else to say but have the ultimate and the highest regard possible that you could give to Porsche engineers, because this is now almost 10 years later, and to those motors there, they don't need to be sort of stripped apart, rebuilt, because as long as they're just maintained and serviced and the drains are cleared and the car is having its maintenance and regular servicing and it's checked over, making sure the battery is in good health, it will last forever. And this is 10 years later. So 10 years later, this Porsche 911 first registered in 2015. It's done 73,000 miles. It's a one owner from new. It's got a very good service history as well, which I will get to in a minute. But before I actually talk about anything else in terms of like the spec of the car and what it's basically about it from a specification point of view, because this is for sale here with us at Invictus, what I'd like to do is to actually take it out for a drive. Before I can get into the rest of the video and the review, please don't forget to subscribe. We earn out of YouTube. That money we, as a matter of fact, donate to charity. So it goes a long way, you guys watching the videos, promoting our business, promoting what we do. So give us that like and subscribe button. Just from the internal specification side of things, this has got the sports steering wheel, the sports chrono, the sports seats with 14-way electrically memory and with adjustable seating. They're heated. You've got the European navigation system, the Bose sound system, finished in this gorgeous dark blue metallic with a 20-inch Carrera S 911 wheels. It's a very well spec and just a beautifully put together Porsche 911, and the mileage currently at 74,000 miles. It's all a one owner from new, a one lady owner from new car. And the fact it's got cruise control tells me, and just from the overall condition of it, just tells me and gives you all the indication that it's had most of its mileage done on the motorway. So if you're looking for something rare, something to keep forever with good service history, a one owner from new, also in good condition, then this is the car. So I'll just do a short drive around the village here, just illustrating the aesthetics. And you know, this sort of a sports car is definitely something that one can just daily drive around, even if it's to a school run. Not something I'd recommend just to a school run and that's it, because I do think sports car should be driven and should have mileage like the mileage that I see that's on the car. But ultimately, you know, you can't go wrong with potentially doing some short drives on a car like this. And I'll actually put it in sports settings. Press the sport button. I'm not going to turn on the PSM and let's hear it growl. Initially, so just pressing that sports button, opening it up a little bit. And having the sports steering wheel with paddle shifts is it's a huge benefit to the overall, not just the look, but the feel and the experience that one gets from driving it because of the paddle shifts. And just from the BHP side of things, this produces 395 brake horsepower, 440 Newton meters of torque, top speed is 183 miles per hour, and the 0 to 62 miles per hour possible in 4.3 seconds. And having it in the Sport Plus setting, it even holds the gears for that tad bit longer, and you've got to manually shift down and shift back up, and you could do that via two places. Number one, through the paddle shifts on the steering wheel. Number two, you could literally slide the gear selector to the left, and if you want to go up a gear, you just push it slightly forward, and if you like to go down a gear, you just push it down, and that just sort of takes you down a gear. Are you in a convertible? Are you in a, coupe with a sunroof? Is this, a hardtop saloon car? What is it? And it's just a reminder that being a Targa, it is special, whether you like it or you don't. I had a customer a little bit earlier. Unfortunately, she's been diagnosed with cancer, and she was just here buying something for her daughter, who's recently passed a driver's license, and she was just getting one of the just cheerful Part X's that we've had that somebody used to station runs, and she saw this whilst I was in the middle of doing the intro of this video, and she's like, if I get better, this is what she will buy. If this is what you're thinking of getting, if this is what you're aspiring to get, don't hesitate, get out there, do it whilst you can, rather than it being a bit too late. So thank you for being here in this section of the video whilst I show around the car, talk about this car, and now let's just sort of move on to the spec of the exterior of the vehicle and the paperwork. So thank you one more time. See you next time. Bye bye. I'll actually just add a little bit more to the video. This is with the sports button pressed. Hear this. Honestly, this is music to my ear. With the sports button turned off now. Naturally aspirated 3.8 litre with Chrono Sport Plus sport steering wheel. I mean, this has got everything you could possibly imagine. Specification wise, this is finished in this gorgeous dark blue metallic with the 20-inch Carrera S 911 wheels. It's got the upgraded headlights, the daytime LED running lights, front parking sensors, rear parking sensors, rear view camera, and obviously I've said everything that I need to be able to tell you about the Targa 4S, but these are all the optional items that we're actually talking about. The sport steering wheel, the Sport Plus sport button with a chrono watch, PSM. It's got these sort of 15 or 14-way electrically adjustable seats. They are also heated with the European navigation system. You've got these sort of memory sport seats with lumbar support, electric folding door mirrors, cruise control. Most of the mileage has been done on the motorway, as it's a one owner from new. It being a Porsche, you've got this incredibly practical layout. Sorry, let me just put this back down. Incredibly practical layout with a 2+2 two back seats there. Sort of the leather and everything is in pretty good condition, and I do like the fact that you've got this brushed aluminium feel that you find around the central console area, just around the PDK gear selector, by the cup holders, and following all the way to the side of the doors. And on the back end, this being the Targa 4S and not the Targa 4, you've got the sports tailpipes, and obviously this being the Targa 4S, you've got the wider rear body, and the fact it's the 4S, it's actually got the 3.8 litre engine rather than the 3.4 litre. Now onto the paper side of things. Just to kind of like talk to you about the maintenance that this has gone through over the years. This, as a matter of fact, still was under the Porsche warranty program up until July 2022. Just here up until 25th July 2022. All the service invoices that this vehicle has had, all of the servicing has all been done at Porsche except one, which was at Belgravia. It wasn't actually due a service right now, but we actually said we will service it, and we have serviced it. So registered in 2015, its first service, as a matter of fact, was done in 2017. This is where it's had basically all the inclusive items. Then it's gone back into Porsche again in 2018, where it's had things like brake pads and discs and the other little components as well, having the brake fluid done as well. Ultimately, it's had some tires replaced as well in 2017 as well, so I should actually go right underneath there. Then in 2019, it's had another really big major service where it's had the oil filter, the pollen filter, everything you could possibly imagine that one would need from a servicing point of view on a vehicle like this, including the air filter. So all in, that was £1,895, and that was the Belgravia garage. They're actually a Porsche specialist. Then in 2020, it's gone in for some servicing work in relation to the PDK. So it's got a new PDK transmission installed in the vehicle in 2020 at just under 50,000 miles. And then in 2022, it's gone back in for a service one more time, and then just now it's gone in for a service with us as well on the sort of 20th of March 2024, where it's had a full-on major service, including the fact that it's had all the drains cleaned. And then sort of on the V5 you can see the number of former keepers, it says 0. So that means, just right here, 0, that means it's literally a one owner from new car. It hasn't got any additional owners whatsoever. Yes, there will be signs of 10 years of just stone chips and just a bit of wear and tear. And if your question is, has it ever had any body work? It's 10 years old. You've got to live in this real world that we do live in. So of course, it's had, due to some scratches, some paint work done. And that was actually done as and when required, because it's a necessity, it is a must. But just to kind of tell you that this hasn't been wrapped around in cotton wool for 10 years with 0 miles on it. It's done 74,000 miles. Yes, mainly motorway miles, spec'd well, it's in phenomenal, fantastic condition. And that's the whole point of actually doing such a comprehensive, long video, that if you do want to make this look like brand new, I would say put it through a detailer that can polish and ceramic coat the whole vehicle for you and to bring it to absolutely tip-top overall condition, making it look like gleaming and looking like brand new. So hopefully I've answered all of your questions, everything you wanted to know in this video. Please don't forget to subscribe, give us that thumbs up, and see you next time in another video. Bye bye.